When I saw issues going on with my parents, my dad had had cancer years before, but was starting to fail again and starting to stumble and fall and do things, was having a tough time. Mama and dad were living in their own house, and they were living life independently. Mama got diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple of years before we actually moved them. So this was all progressing. I saw this. My beautiful wife really helped me through the process. Then I started having conversations with my parents and convincing them that they needed to look at independent living to start. I was in denial that my parents were getting that bad when we first moved them. It got to the point where neighbors were calling me where they lived and telling me that they had to go rescue my mom because she got lost. She was just not able to really function on her own, and our part-time caregiver and myself couldn't be around enough to get her to and from meals. And even though friends helped and things like that, it was getting difficult for the simple little things for her to actually function and do that. That's when we decided to go ahead and make that move. It was tough because just the idea for me of memory care was very sterile. I've seen people in memory care and they were so much further along than her that it really kind of worried me. She was still conversational and still walking and moving and functioning that way. But when we went over, the marketing person at the Arbor was amazing. We immediately became great friends. She gave me a big hug. She said, and I'm just a big hugger anyway. So it was just a very warm environment. My number one test of moving my parents and then moving mama into any places when I walked in the front door, did it smell like urine? That was one of my tests. And the reason it was is because it was an indication to me of how they cared for the facility and how they cleaned the facility and did all that. So the people and the smell and appearance of the facility were way high on my list. And it smelled great. The people were wonderful. I got to know the ladies at the front desk. I got to know everybody. I'm just one of those guys. I become friends with everybody. But there's still some people there that were actually there when Mama first went in. That was good to have some of the same people we always knew, and they would know me. I'd walk in, "Hey Russ, how's it going?" From the front desk all the way in, and that was a big thing. So that part of the move-in part, just helpful and kind, was great. The biggest challenges we had though were things like laundry. And this wasn't one director, one person. It was like kind of a like systemic issue they had to work on. They would lose her clothing. And they did actually lose two pairs of dentures and two sets of glasses. And part of that does come in with the fact that it's an Alzheimer's memory care unit, and other people might take it as well, people that are living there. And so it was really something they had to keep an eye on, but they were the ones that were responsible for overall care. The beautiful thing though, that was a challenge, and it was a little frustrating. It's true, but the way they handled it, all the directors, was really, really good. They always took care of it. They always replaced the item or items, replaced when I went out and got her new clothing that had been lost, or things, sheets or towels or whatever that had been lost. They would take care of that. So they really owned up to what was going on, and they didn't argue with me or cause a problem. They were actually very helpful. The thing to remember is, how are you dealing with the situation? How are you treating people when things happen? Are you making them feel like it's their fault and causing more issue, or are you saying, "Hey, no problem, we'll take care of that," and just be a blessing to them? My mom is the person I'm going to do all that I can for, and so when they don't cause additional tension, that's a real plus. And so I really appreciated that. It was always very good. You got to think outward and inward. You've got to think about the community out, that's going to be the people that are going to be coming in to look at the memory care, look at the facility and all that there is, and how you're going to deal with them before they ever get to that point. Then how do you deal with them when they actually come in with their loved ones, and then they're having to deal with everything inside? the thing I think is most important is to really connect and build community outside with people first. And I always recommend to them, go out into your community, to the chambers of commerce, to the meetings, to the different networking groups, get to know people and connect with people, because that is what brought me into senior living, was knowing all these people. Having resources from all these different people is what brought me in to begin with. So number one, that was great. The people that did that, and there were several from all different companies and everything doing this, and people that were a resource for me. So that was a plus. So when you're a blessing and a resource for those that maybe are just coming up on that, or maybe not quite there yet, but they need information and they don't know how it works. One of my really good friends, who was a resource to me in the beginning, became the marketing director at the Arbor while Mama was there. So it's kind of full circle. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is, care about those when they come in. Don't just care about making sales and filling rooms. And I still know a ton of people in senior care and senior living, and they are all loving and caring people. You know, they work for different companies, but they're the kind of people that care about people. And so that's what I found, is that people cared about Mama. I'm still blessed to be able to go back. I actually go back and still speak and work with the staff at the Arbor, and help them out from time to time, encourage them. So Mama and I would do what we called lapping and laughing, and Mama called it that. It's a circle hallway at the Arbor. It goes through the dining hall, but the whole thing is a circle around where all the rooms are. So we would walk that circle, and that's what Mama called lapping and laughing, because we would laugh and sing and have so much fun. My mama was the happiest person alive. She's the happiest person I've ever known. All through her journey, I was blessed to have her keep that still. She was very happy. And so I would take these little videos called hashtag happy moments with Mama, and we were laughing and singing and talking.
La 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 la. Oh, I'm an alto. La la la.
So we're doing this one day, and the marketing director comes up to me and says, Russ, give me your phone. And I said, what? She goes, give me your phone. You'll thank me later. So I gave her my phone. Mom and I were walking. She filmed us from behind. We were holding hands. We were singing. To see us in the hallway, walking hand in hand and just singing, and it just still brings tears to my eyes.
My only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
I talk a lot about perspective, but connection and relationships. And that's where everything starts, no matter what business you're in. But in this business, it's super important.
Very good.